Okay, now we're going to begin the class with a recap of what we did last week. First of all, I must remove Dramatica from the materials. Thank you, kind sir. Okay, ouch. All right. Not one of my fans tonight, are you? Okay. Last week, we looked at the concept of characters, and we said there were two basic kinds of characters. There were the objective characters and the subjective characters. If we look at the story mind, which is to say we look at the story as if it were a complete mind. I'm drawing a brain here, or maybe somebody's lungs, but this is supposed to be the story mind. Okay? And if we look at every complete story as a single mind in which characters are but facets of an overall personality, then to keep your story from having a split personality, all of the characters in it must work together so that they exist in the same way that different facets of a personality would exist within a single individual. If they don't, if you have two people doing the same job, two characters doing the same job, you get a redundancy that wouldn't occur in a human mind because we're only have one set of emotions that feel love, or one set of logistic approaches, or one, we have these limited facets, and together they make the complete Gestalt, Gesundheit. However, if you have multiple people doing the same job or a missing portion, then you've got an incomplete mind, and if they don't actually exist within the single personality, they're going to not just be conflicting drives, they're going to be a complete split personality. So using Dramatica, and in a class we'll do later specifically about the story mind, you'll be able to psychoanalyze your story and find out if it's a split personality, look at the property lines that exist for each of the characters to make sure they don't overlap and that they each have their own distinct piece of land in the overall media real estate, as it were. Okay, we talked about this story mind. We said there's a couple ways to look at it. From the outside looking in, there's a nice eyeball, okay, looking in at the story mind, and also from the inside looking out. Okay? Now, the inside looking out, that's kind of the mind's eye, as it were. Or it is I, the letter I, as in me, who I am. That represents in the story mind the main character's position. And who is the main character? What defines the main character? The main character is defined by the fact that they represent the audience position in the story. And if the story is a mind, the main character represents our own positions in our own mind. So, as a character, we have this main character that we're looking at who represents the inside view of the mind, what it's like to have this mind of the story mind, what it's like to experience things from the inside looking out where you don't have all of the information. The outside picture, the objective picture, that's from the outside looking in. That's the view of kind of like a general on a hill watching everything that's going on here. And that general can see the different facets of personality going on inside the story mind. From the objective view, you see objective characters. Objective characters are seen by their function. They're not experienced. Only the main character and other audience positions in the story can experience what it's like to be a character. However, from the outside looking in, you can look at a character and say, this is what the character looks like, this is what the function is that they're doing. Much as you'd see a foot soldier, or someone hiding in the bushes, cowering in the bushes, or the guy leading the charge. All the soldiers are identified by their function, from the general on the hill who's watching the battle down below, the dramatic battle. But when you zoom into the shoes of one of those characters, that's the main character. Now this main character travels along a path, trying to do the best he can, and he runs into the obstacle character, OBS, obstacle character, OBS. Well, that's what it seems like to the main character. This is, oh, it's BS. That's what it seems like, because the main character, beginning to sound like Arlo Guthrie here, anyway, because the main character, when he looks at the obstacle character, he determines that there are 32 8x10 glossy photographs with a paragraph pasted on the back of each one. And this obstacle character has an alternative paradigm and says to the main character, this is how you should go about doing things. And the main character says, no, I got my own battle plan that's served me well forever and ever, and so on. And they approach each other, getting closer and closer. And as they do, a personal skirmish occurs between the two in the midst of the larger dramatic battle. And the main character says, hey, get out of my way, get out of my face, talk to the hand. The obstacle character says, no, forget it, you gotta change course. Well, with all the smoke going off, as seen by the general on the hill from these dramatic explosions, the general can see if this is a friendly soldier masked by the smoke. See, main character can't tell if it's friend or foe. The objective view can tell if this is a friendly soldier saying, get off the road because you're going to run right into a minefield, or if this is actually an enemy soldier who's trying to lure the main character into an ambush. Well, the main character can't tell. They're just sitting in there trying to do their job the best way they can, and they can't see the big picture. So what happens is they fight it out between them until one of them is going to change. Either the obstacle character is going to jump off the path and let the main character get through, or the main character is going to jump off the path and the obstacle character will have prevailed. One will change, one will remain steadfast, and in fact, it takes the steadfastness of one of them to be strong enough to force the other one to change. That's sort of the way it works. Now these characters, this represents I, the mind's eye, and the letter I, me. This is who I am. Just like when we argue with ourselves in the story, we argue with that other side of ourselves, and we say, this is who I might become. I might take that point of view, but we just don't adopt it. Instead, we look at it from the outside, consider it, and then eventually, if we think it's stronger than the way we're looking at things now, we'll jump over and actually become that kind of person. So this is when we argue within ourselves with that devil's advocate voice. And the argument we have with that voice is called the subjective story. So what we have now are 4 key points of view on story. The whole thing is the story mind. But just looking at it doesn't tell us how the audience is going to view it. The audience needs 4 views of that story mind. From the outside looking in, objectively, the one view we can't get of our own minds, and that's why stories are so important, is because they provide us the author's experience, the author's insight, saying, when you feel like this, what's going on in your head, let's look at it from the outside and watch this mechanism of problem solving and see if we can determine whether you should go with the way you feel or if you should change to the other way of doing it based on a higher view that tells you what is the overall meaning of the story. So we've got these 4 points of view. Objective, I. This one we're looking at the obstacle character, you, Y-O-U, or X-O-U if you write it incorrectly. Y-O-U, Zu. I-U, we. We. Can't even see that, but I'm writing it anyway. We and they. Now you see, if you look at characters from the outside, it's called they, because you see them by function. That's what they're doing. We watch them from the outside, they are doing this. I am here in the story mind. I am the main character. You have an alternative paradigm, a different belief system, a different worldview, or at least a different way of going about things in regard to the central issue of this story, and you are the obstacle character. And between us, we have this argument.